where I wanna take you. Further is where I want you to go. Wider, every city, every nation. I really love you so. What you got?
Hey guys, welcome back to Ignorant Education episode 4. Oh my God.
Oh, I remember that. Hey, hey.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed our last episode. I think it was a good conversation. I think I received some really good feedback from some of my friends, so that's good. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying it and having a good time with us. So welcome back to Ignorant Education with your host,
Welcome
Miss
back.
Annelytics.
And Daisy Dash.
Woo! I always forget to intro us. So yeah, just in case you don't know who we are.
Bio coming up. I'm gonna have some shakers
Some
in that episode.
maracas.
Some maracas, yes.
Shake the shoulders.
Take the shoulders.
So how you doing this week, Miss Daisy Dash?
Um, my God, I think I'm cool this week. That's how I'm gonna describe this week. I'm cool. I'm not like happy, like overly happy, but I'm not sad. I'm cool. I'm right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Things are moving. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel with a lot of things. So I'm just cool. I'm riding my wave and just, letting it be what it's gonna be at the end of the day because you can't control everything. So but
Yeah.
how about you? How are you feeling? You're on vacation, so you should be feeling great. Okay.
I'll be more great once I'm out of the country. But no, I'm good. Yeah, so like I said last episode, like I'm in between starting my new role and leaving the company that I was formerly with. So I'm just taking some time to rest. There's been a lot of errands to run in this past couple of days, past couple of weeks, but ultimately I've been really good. My body has been tired, and I think now that I have the time to actually listen to it, it's like, Diane, sleep. So that's what I've been doing. I've been taking
Yeah.
naps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been really relaxing for the
That's
most
good.
part. Um, yeah, I'm excited for the week to come, and I'll tell you guys all about that in the next episode. But yeah.
It's so nice. So nice.
But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have some time off. Get enough sleep for the both of us. I'm going to sleep regardless. But yeah,
Yeah.
get enough sleep for us.
It's nothing like taking a nap at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and be like, I'm good. I have no responsibilities right now. So that's
See,
good.
I wasn't the kid that was complaining about nap time. I was like
Mm.
enthusiastic about taking my naps, and I'm still enthusiastic about taking my naps as a grown woman. So I understand 3 o'clock, that 30 minute. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie, my naps be like 2 hours, but that 2 hour power nap,
That's a sleep. That's a short sleep. That's not even a nap.
anything between 30 minutes to 3 hours is technically a nap.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Because don't the
Anything over
Europeans
three
be having
hours,
siestas like 2 hours in the middle of the day where they just stop doing?
yeah, stop doing stuff.
Yes,
So
so
that's
that's okay. Yeah, it is. It is.
you really the first 15 is like you getting comfortable, you like shutting down. So that's 30 minutes that had already passed.
That's valid.
And really it's an hour and a half before asleep. But I'm gonna say it's two. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
valid. Okay.
So
So
what
now,
are
oh yeah,
this week, Miss Annelytics?
you cut out a little bit.
I was asking you what are our mini topics for this week?
Oh yeah, so we have a new mini topic. I think this is our first time introducing it. Branded by society. So these are all the concepts that we've seen change within society. Um, so whether that revolves around dating or how we talk about certain things, relationships, friendships, parenting, anything that we've seen kind of change in the course of society that we may or may not agree with. So Miss Daisy Dash, what's your branded by society topic today?
So the first thing that came to my mind, I'm not going to say it.
No, say it. Say it.
Because we all know it. Like, I was just talking about this a day or two ago about being disciplined. The way we've been disciplined has definitely changed with society.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to get into that topic because, everyone's raising their kids differently. So, but that is definitely number one on my list to shifting with society. But I think what really stands out to me is like this new generation. I think
as if we're not in it.
We're old.
We're old.
We're not. We're on that cusp of
millennial and Gen Z.
I'm a millennial. I'm not going to claim Gen Z. So, I think because I love comedy so much, I'm just going to say it. Like, comedy has definitely, it's not as funny as it used to be. Like, I can look back at old comedy from the 90s, early 2000s and be in tears.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to a comedy show or watched a comedy stand-up in a while that actually had me in tears. So society has ruined comedy, especially Black comedy.
Just ruined it.
Ruined it. It's not even anymore.
Well, yeah, because I feel like those jokes are also nostalgic for us too. So like the Bernie Macs of it all, like Richard Pryor, all of those, it's like like I think that's what cultivated our like comedic taste. So anyone who's not doing that in the current years is like, what are you even doing? This isn't even comedy. But yeah.
Go here.
You don't even go here. Yeah, I'm really trying to think of like comics that I actually enjoy. I guess it's more
I can laugh at, but they're not like having me in tears like Bernie Mac or Martin Lawrence used to. Like Cat Williams. Cat Williams is another one of my favorites. Like,
man,
they literally used to make my ribs hurt. Like, full blown in tears, like, oh my god, stop, I gotta use the bathroom. That's the best laugh you will ever have. And I haven't had that like reaction to any of the new comedy stand-ups as of late. So society has, because everyone's being political. Shout out to Dave Chappelle, everyone's giving him some flack, and I get that everyone's sensitive. So that's that, but it still doesn't make me like best thing I ever had. So
Dave is definitely leaning into the like more, not serious commentary, but like more like observation. Like, he's very poignant in his comedy. That's less of the ha rolling on the floor.
He's like, you people suck. And funny of you. And I like that, but it's not like, like how it used to be. So that's my comedy and my brand of society. It has shifted so much. But what about you? What has changed for you?
That's good. I think the first one that came to my mind was the use of the word toxic. Like, it just, I feel like it's used with everything, and not every scenario or situation is toxic. Like,
what is the true definition of toxic anyway?
I would say it's something that is detrimental to who you are, detrimental to your values, like goes against your values, goes against your like toxic, like close to causing death, like like whether that's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like those things. But people be like, oh, you didn't follow me back, that's toxic behavior or whatever. I don't know, I just feel like it's
that may resulted in them wanting to,
it's not toxic if it's triggering, sure, and that's another word that gets used so often. Oh man, but yeah, just some toxic. I'm just like, your friend isn't toxic, they're just holding you accountable. That's two different things. So And I agree. I think the word is necessary.
It is definitely overused, but I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
And I feel
I
like,
think this generation is maybe a little toxic because, they just.
or maybe they're a little bit more open with their toxicity. I feel like
Yeah, like I'm this way and either with it
that's
or not,
it.
and they're not trying to change that. So technically, are you really toxic?
Mm, yes. If
Yeah.
you're if you being who you are, like I can say that for anything. Oh, I'm not rude. I'm just keeping it as it is. But you're damaging my self-esteem. Like that's something that is true. Just because you're true to self doesn't mean there aren't consequences for your choices. So yeah. Oh, speaking of consequences for choices, Mr. I know it's
There's
been a busy week.
a consequence or outcome to whatever choice you make, and I'm sure
Mm.
everyone has seen it. And I think, have this mini topic in the last episode, but we're rolling into Graham talk again because
Mm-hmm.
only thing you see on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Google, everywhere
Mm.
is Will Smith and Chris Rock. Right?
So of course we had to
Mm.
talk about it.
So yeah, of course we had to talk about it because last episode was a little too early and we missed out on the goodness. Not the Oscars, but the goodness that occurred at the Oscars. Shout out to Beyonce because she was amazing.
She was. She was.
She was
I only saw
amazing.
clips. Who even watches the Oscars anymore? But clearly we missed
So
something.
clearly we missed something. Maybe I'll tune in next year to see if there are any more smackings. But so I'm gonna ask you, Miss Annelytics, how
Ooh.
do you feel? Are you truly toxic? How do you feel about what happened between Will Smith and Chris Rock?
I had this discussion with many different people, and I love it because the situation's so layered. So there's so many
Yeah.
different types of conversations you can have about it. You can
Mm-hmm.
have it about comedy and what's okay to be said, what's too PC. Like you can have
Yeah.
that conversation, right? You can have the conversation about mental health, which I think is a big part of this, and trauma and dealing with the past and healing. I personally understood his choice, but I don't agree with his choice. And I think people are so like black and white about it that there's no space to be I agree, but I understand, but I don't agree. Because of course I don't condone any type of violence, and I feel like most people aren't. But I think the sentiment of standing up for your wife when you feel like she's in an unsafe space, whether mentally, physically, emotionally, which we talked about last episode. How perfect.
You gotta protect everyone wants to protect you, right?
So I get it. And it's not even the fact that it was like in front of billions of people or anything like that. It's just like it could have been like a conversation. I was fine with him yelling from the seat, like keep my name out of your mouth. Period. But I would have been like, yes, sir. But yeah. right. Mm-hmm. He said what he said. But but it's like I understand, but then I don't agree. So that's where I am. It's like both and. I get it. I get
that.
See, what about you? Yeah.
I'm like wrong place, right time. For one, last year Chris Rock spoke on Jada. This year he spoke again on Jada. So it's like, okay, last year you didn't get chin check for it. This year you are. I don't condone violence. Sometimes violence is necessary, not all the time, but sometimes, right?
I get it. Mm-hmm.
So wrong place, meaning this is the Oscars. Not even it's the Oscars. It's an award show. So we shouldn't even have this at the BET Awards, guys. So please stop saying it's because of the Oscars. Costumes aren't even made for the people that were there to act in a food.
Come on.
But wrong place. It was a award ceremony. No one should be getting smacked out at an award ceremony. Um, However, I feel like right timing. Keep coming at my wife. Everyone, this is what I say right timing because I don't know what award show that was prior to the Oscars where one of the red carpet hosts or whatever brought up the entanglement at an award show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, why are we bringing up something that is discussed on a red table talk that he's written about in his book that he went on bail for? Like, why are we bringing this up here? Time and place. No one seems to know their time with what they want to say, and I feel like everyone's talking out of their ass. Sorry, when they want to talk out of their ass, and sometimes you just got to get smacked in your place. And because how many times are you going to disrespect their marriage?
Right.
We may not agree with whatever goes on in their marriage, but that's their marriage. So, so that's how I feel. Wrong place, right time. Maybe he shouldn't have got smacked. Maybe he just needed to pull his tie a little bit. Like, listen here, buddy.
Hey, buddy, I get a glove, a white glove. I challenge you to a duel. Meet me outside at 4 p.m.
What's the handkerchief?
Yeah, the handkerchief.
So, but all the extra like hoopla about it, about people being traumatized, like
oh god, another word that gets overused.
Why are you traumatized?
Come on, you're saying this more than likely because he's a black man. It was 2 black men in the situation. You wouldn't say that if it was Tom Cruise jumping on people's faces. Like, come on. Other races also act crazy too. It's only when it comes to black people that now this is pushing back the whole race. Why is Will Smith the whole holder of what our race does? I don't understand.
In our race, like, he's black excellence. He will continue to be black excellence. Just because he smacked somebody doesn't mean he's not excellent. That was an excellent slap. It was very clean. He took his hand.
It was, man. He wound it up.
He fixed his suit when he walked off. But I don't understand why you're traumatized. It wasn't like a full scuffle. He didn't like injure this man. He literally kept going with the show. So for people to sit here and say they're traumatized when most of them are actors, so you've been in movies where they slap someone or slap someone, so stop making it, move on.
That's it. You're just trying to milk the moment at this point. It's like, if you're irrelevant, be quiet. It's okay. You don't have to join on the bandwagon and jump on everybody's opinion. Like, stay in obscurity. It's okay.
Just stay quiet. We didn't even know you were there. Like, why are you even
like, we forgot about
the people that are talking about it? It's like, how did you even get invited to the
right? Like, what are you actually doing at this point in time in your career? Oh, it's too much.
Way too much, and I feel like we need to stop putting certain people on a pedestal. Will Smith is still human, definitely still human. Chris Rock, he's some type of a human. So we just really need to people and detach them from this whole craziness that we put on celebrities. So
yeah, and I think that's actually part of, like, I don't know what's going on in the man's brain, but if I were to kind of put multiple things out there, I think part of it was him kind of like standing up in a situation where he may have normally just like smiled and kept going, or laughed and kept going. Just like, from what I heard about his book, I haven't actually personally read it, but like understanding his past of like him feeling like he was a coward most of his life, and this being a moment for him to prove in his own way, I'm not a coward. I want to stand up for the people I love. Like, this is my moment. And you have seen, even in like the Fresh Prince reunion and all of that, like, he's slowly trying to break away from the image that he's created for himself as a movie star, because in traditional Hollywood, it's very much like prim and proper, like the Denzels. You don't really hear much about who
Ooh,
he is.
shout out to Denzel, everybody.
Shout out to
Shout out
Denzel,
to
like talking
Denzel.
to him afterwards too, of like at your highest moments, that's when the devil comes and gets you, and it's true. Um, but that's like the traditional Hollywood Will was like groomed in. So now that he's trying to break out and show like, no, I'm a human. I'm not as like clear. I'm not
Yeah,
as clean as and proper as you think I am. I'm still
yeah.
human. I still have all these things. So I think that was part of it too, if I had to say it.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I'm just over it, and I'm over people like scrutinizing their
Oof.
relationship because it's their relationship. Like
Yeah,
Will Smith is Will Smith.
that's it.
He and Jada is who she is. You're not very you're not Chris Rock. Like, why are you entering their relationship? Chris Rock, move yourself out.
It sucks because the joke was even funny, but
It
that's
wasn't.
besides the point. I'm like,
It
come
wasn't
on,
even a good joke.
it wasn't even good. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Jane. Like, I mean,
G.I. Jane, come on.
and
How
she
old is
had
that
like
movie
a tapered
on?
fade too. I was really trying to think back to G.I. Jane. I was like, did she have like a tapered fade? She had like
Yeah.
some hair on top. Jade is like meatball bald. Like she
Mm-hmm.
has no hair in her head. So
Mm-hmm.
out of all things you want to call her, G.I. Jane. So
Yeah.
look at that.
But
So what's
yeah.
next on our list? What are we talking about this week? What is our main topic for these people, these lovely people?
Yeah. So I think in the whole like will conversation and understanding that sometimes a lot of our life we live for other people. If you're
Yeah.
not really secure in why you were created, like what your purpose is in life. So
Mhm.
our main topic today is about purpose. And to introduce that, it's I want to ask this question to you, Miss Daisy Dash. So what is or when did you start detaching from who people wanted you to be into who you felt like you were purposed to be, if that's even happened yet for you?
Um, it has happened.
Hmm.
It recently happened, maybe like a year or two ago.
Okay.
So maybe not a year. I'm gonna say a year or two ago is when I really was like, okay, you know
Mhm.
what, this isn't really good. I think this goes back to the first episode when I called this out. With me wanting to become an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
me wanting change in my career, and I moved to Pittsburgh. Who lives in Pittsburgh?
No one. No one lives in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I think I did say this in the first episode. So I didn't want to go to college at first, but everyone in my family was like, "Oh, go to college." Especially my mom, like, "What else are you gonna do?" And when it was time to go to college, everything was super last minute. I was just like, "Yeah, what else am I gonna do?" Like, I don't see, like, I don't want to stand behind a chair. I don't want to do anyone's hair. I don't want to do anyone's nails. I don't want to pick up, uh, um, technical jobs. Like, I don't want to do anything hands on, even though
Mhm.
like it's cool to do, but it just I wasn't seeing it. And
Yeah.
I was making money at the time with working like at Taco Bell, but that wasn't getting me nowhere. I was in high school,
Yeah.
so last minute I was like, okay, why not? Like my family's, I'm smart. My teachers told me I'm smart. My mom's like, go to college, so go to college. Went to college, finesse college. After college, it was like, okay, now you have to get a job. Like you got student loans to pay back, so got a corporate America job. Been moved to Pittsburgh in the middle of nowhere, thinking like, okay, I'm just settled down, started with my friend folks. They got get married early, have a couple kids, you know, be in the
Mhm.
middle, take me out of the city, just do all of this.
Mhm.
And once COVID hit, me and the guy that I was dating broke up.
Mhm.
Life just like, okay, sis, you're sitting here and you're not happy. Like you're not happy career wise. Like where are you going with this?
Mhm.
Do you want to sit at a desk every day, all day?
Mm-mm.
You don't like being bossed around, like you some type of complex. Like clearly, you need to do something where you're in charge. You
Mhm.
need to you need to be able to make your own money when you want it and how you want it. Um, I'm very expensive, so one thing I need to be is what a boss. So it took COVID. I think COVID really slapped a lot of people in the
Mhm.
face and gave them a good reality check. So sorry for all the people that we lost, and my
Mhm.
heart goes out to the families that lost someone due to COVID. Um, but I think COVID really brought a lot of people together, took a lot of people out of your life, made
Mhm.
you look at yourself in the mirror, and it definitely made me look at myself in the mirror to say, I'm currently not on the path that's making me happy or is
Mhm.
going to make me happy because some things I'm okay with. Like, oh, I'm okay for it right now. And I
Mhm.
think that's what I was in for a long time. Like, okay, I'm okay with it right now because I know this isn't the end all be all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, COVID. It was just like, get yourself together. What's that song? Get yourself together. I think that's very, very.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was like, what song you say? Oh, because yeah, yeah. I was
The
like,
music is
what?
always in my head. I know it's a song
That
somewhere.
was a reach. I was like, okay, gotta go back. Come on,
That's an
baby.
oldie. Like
Yeah, it is.
you go to
I
church,
think my sister taught me a step to that. No.
you gotta get to it, gotta break that thing down. But that was for me. When did you take yourself off of that pedestal that everyone was trying to direct
Mm.
you or make you into or move you into?
I think it was COVID too. Definitely COVID.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to think because it wasn't. Hmm, it's layered. It's
Yeah,
layered
let into it. I get it.
because for me, people saw more in me than I was willing to believe about myself. So it
That is
was
that's it. That should be a quote. I'm sorry for interrupting. That should be a quote.
no.
That is my entire life. That is my entire life. You know. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, what do you do when you're 14 or 15, like having people tell you that like you're an old soul and like the way you talk isn't like how people your age talk, like the conversations that I would have would be with people in their 20s, 30s, and they'd be like, what, you're only this age, you're only 18, you're only
Yeah.
15. And it's like, I don't know any other way to live or view life. So this is where I am. But I think for the longest time, I tried to I was just having this conversation with my friend the other day. I was trying to minimize or make myself small because very early on, I want to say within middle school, I realized that once you stood out, you become a target. And for most of my life, I was trying to make myself small, whether with my intelligence, like I would still do well in school and all of that because my
Yeah.
parents are Jamaican. I have no choice.
Yeah.
But for the longest, I was trying to make myself small to not be seen, to not be hurt.
Yeah.
So everything I was doing was to not feel pain. So I think
I
with
like that. Yeah.
yeah, so I think with COVID being forced to like realize that about myself,
To feel something. Mm-hmm.
that like Diana, it doesn't matter if you minimize yourself, people still see whatever you're trying to hide from. So either way, like it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like either
Yeah.
way, people aren't gonna always like you, or people will try to find a way to like attack you in some way. So why not be successful in life at the same time so that you're
Mm-hmm.
actually happy instead of
Yeah.
worrying about what everyone else is thinking? So I think,
That,
yeah.
yeah. That's interesting because I'm the opposite. And you know this.
Yep. And that's why I love this podcast because it's always like We're here,
Yeah,
but we came
we're
here.
here,
Anyways.
yeah, but it's a different road,
Yeah.
because me, I like that that competition. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm the best, you're coming after me, and I'm like, come after me so I can show you, like, this ain't what you want, baby.
I love
Like,
it.
you want to laugh, like in class, I'm gonna laugh you, like I'm gonna laugh you. So it's just to see that how you avoided it, but you're such a great light
I
that
appreciate
even
that.
when you try to dim it, like
Mm-hmm.
people are still drawn to you, like you still
Okay.
stand out. And it's crazy with working with you, we stood out in two different, completely different ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But everyone knew, like, we were reckoning, like we
That's
were
it.
coming for a throttle, but just in different ways.
Ways, yeah.
Um, so just don't dim that light, because it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna shine regardless.
It
And it
is.
has been amazing to see, like, your growth over time with COVID, from when we first started working together, from like
Yeah.
way back to now. Why do I say way back like you
Like,
know,
because
but
COVID was
way back.
2020 was all of 4 years. Like, we know. Come on.
Listen, I feel like I'm
Come on.
eight, like in these past 2 years, 8 years. Like, how is it not eight? Because
Jeez.
at this point I'm 35. So it's just
At this point, I done lived the whole life. Oh, man.
yes. No, that, so
Yeah.
when did you, like, with COVID, what triggered you to be like, you're not doing what you're destined to do?
Oof.
What was that?
Woo. What did? Okay, I mean, this is the truth, so I'm just gonna speak the truth. It was actually a dream that I had. Yeah, and it was a shocking dream about my future, and it kind of catapulted me into like finding out who I needed to be in order to achieve that
Yeah.
future me. So just finding out, like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be successful in this world. Success to me may look different to someone else, but success to me just means being at peace with what I do, enjoying what I do,
Yeah.
and knowing that I'm doing is what I'm uniquely
Yeah.
designed to do, and touching who I'm supposed to touch in this world, who I'm supposed to heal, who I'm supposed to
That's a
impact.
topic for a different day.
That's a different like purpose is it's so big, like it's so much to talk about. So that dream really was like a wake-up call, pun intended, of like, Diane, no, like, find out more about like why you're created this way. Like, even hearing our personalities and how they differ and how we attack life based off of like different events that's occurred, I think that's what's used in our purpose. Like, we're created with specific personalities. The way we view the world is very specific to like what we're supposed to do in it. So yeah, it was that dream that really scared me. It was a good dream, but it put me in a place of success much quicker than I expected. And I don't know if this is going to be a separate podcast episode, but talking about the fear of success.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when you do achieve what you want? Were you preparing yourself enough so that you could handle that success? Because immature success leads to death, honestly. And that sounds very dramatic.
He's gonna kill you off immediately.
It's like there's the responsibility that comes with success. So knowing that and knowing what I saw, I was like, nah, Diane, you just got to figure out. I was like, how do I backtrack? What are the steps I need to take in order to achieve that?
Yeah, but because I know for me, I'm over analytical, and I think everything over way too many times. So when I'm like, okay, I'm done preparing. Like, this is enough preparation. It's time to make that move, because I know a lot of people that I've spoken to and for myself, it's like, okay, but I'm not ready yet. I
Mm.
still got to do this, this, and this, and the
Mhm.
third. And I know for me, it's like, I gotta see what's going on over there, what's going on over that
What's
way,
going
what's
on
in
with
front
it?
of me, what's behind me before I
Hmm.
make a move. And I know that hinders me. So when do you feel like I prepared enough? Now it's time to
Mm.
walk out and step out on that faith to create and be what I'm destined to be.
Ooh, that's such a good question because I think preparation comes in stages because you're
Mm.
never ever going to be fully prepared for what life has to offer.
Yeah.
What you will be prepared for is what you need to do in the current season that you're in or in the next season that you're about to walk in. Um, oh, so layered. So yeah. So for me, I don't want to say that I still don't feel prepared for the things I gotta do, but what helped me was what helped me is I think I spoke about this in previous episodes, but getting around people who could see who are on similar journeys as me and who could see kind of my future before I can. I think sometimes you need confidants, you need friends, you need mentors, you need advisors around
Yeah.
you who are like, no, it's in you. You just have to do it. And so most of the time, we just have to do it. But unfortunately, we don't have the people around us who are motivating us to do it.
Mm.
So if you can't find those people who are around you doing it, what I started doing is like going on YouTube and finding coaches and pastors and different like motivational speakers so that in moments where I couldn't affirm myself or other people weren't affirming me, I received it in different ways. So that's what I would say. I think moment to move. I think for all things, you should just do it. I definitely think you need to be somewhat competent in what you're about to do. You need to have some type of knowledge before you just jump out there and try to start helping people invest something.
Before you
Like,
start watching people, you
come
have no
on.
clue what you're doing and you mess up somebody's situation. Please have
Mm-hmm.
knowledge
Please.
and go to class for dermatology. Cool.
And I think what really stops people from moving is a lack of clarity. Like,
Yeah.
they don't realize that they're already prepared because they're not super clear or they're not clear enough on like what their purpose to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I understand everything I'm gonna do in this world, but
Yeah.
for the most part, I understand like how I'm supposed to impact others in this world by how I make them feel, not necessarily like what service I provide them or what product I provide them. It's like the end goal is to get you to this destination. And that's true in everything that I do. But yeah, what about you? Like for your purpose for you, what does that look like? Do you feel prepared? I know you said you don't, but like
I'm
for the next
prepared.
stages.
I
Mm.
know. I don't think I ever felt prepared for the next chapter or stage of my life. I
Mm.
don't know what that feels like. I feel like when I feel that, I'm gonna scare myself
Mm.
out of being prepared because real quick, what are you talking about? So come on. But I'm still gonna take the step. But I'm still gonna prep. I'm still gonna overthink. I'm still gonna because that's. I don't think I'm overthinking now for my next ventures in life. I'm definitely in the prepping stage. I'm in the getting my situations together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what woke me up to me not being fulfilled in my prior situations was my breakup with my ex.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just like here together. The like I'm like full throttle vision because even before like taking that step, I'm like, okay, before you even come anywhere with me, sir, right?
Whoa, buddy.
Listen, you gotta be like qualifications, you gotta be this, you gotta be that.
Mm.
This person checked all of those boxes off.
Mm-hmm.
Then things like started to transpire. People weren't ready. I wasn't ready. It was just like, okay, I know I had to grow up early mentally, and I was always an old soul. I'm still an old soul, and I always felt like, oh, I'm gonna get married early. I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna be third. But then when those things started to transpire and pieces weren't falling into the place that they were supposed to fall in, it was like, okay, let me take this step back. So when
Mm.
COVID happened, it was like, I'm removing everything. Clear out house. You got to go.
You
You
got to
got to go.
go.
You gotta go. Get back on my relationship with God. Like I never felt back in my relationship with God, but I felt into it more. Like, okay, only person who's gonna guide me, only person I trust with guiding me into my true purpose is God, my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So fell into that more, and then I started talking to God. Like, okay, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want $100 billion.
1 billion trillion dollars.
All right, this is my end goal, right? Like, you ain't gonna make that deal when you know. The best business ever.
Mm-mm.
And it was just like, you're not gonna get what you're looking for out of what you're currently doing. You're moving for
Mm.
everybody, waiting for this person to move, for you to move,
That's good.
relationship because you're still young. Set yourself up to be successful. Like you have all the tools you need. Tap into that. Tap into what you thought you were going to be when you were a kid. Tap into that imagination. Tap into knowing you can be better than what you are today.
Yeah.
So that's what really drives my purpose now. Like, okay, one, let me talk to God first.
Mm-hmm.
Two, what do I truly want? What do I truly want to do? What makes
Yeah.
me happy? Like, I want to be happy as I was as a kid.
Mm.
So tapping into that, making money off that, growing my life
Yeah.
in multiple ways, not just in money, but in family, into friendships, into mentoring, into giving back, because that's one of the biggest things that I know in the end is once I get these billions and trillions of dollars,
The
I'm gonna
billion.
give I'm gonna give back. And I want
Yeah.
the people that help me get there give back, because not only am I giving back, everyone around me give back. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my end goal for my purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still prepping for that. As y'all know, Days Rose is coming soon. Truly,
Come
truly
on.
soon. I've
Woo.
been working on that. So Ignore Education is here. I've
Yeah.
been moving. We've been like getting those, as you said, getting those people that you need around you. Because
Yeah.
I don't like people. I'm sorry, y'all, but I don't like people. I don't like starting new relationships with people.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's also a conversation we're going to have on the podcast, is starting new relationships and friendships are relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships in like your mid-20s, early 30s, so go for
Mm-hmm.
it, because I feel like it's a little harder. And those old relationships that you deaded, leave them dead. Like, stop trying to rekindle old friendships and
It's cool. Leave them
leave
in the
stuff back there.
past. Yeah.
Leave it back there. So I started having those right people in my life, um,
Mm-hmm.
and positioning them correctly. Because
So
if
good.
you position someone, you have a purpose in your life, but if you position them wrong, they're not going to fulfill you in a way that they were destined to.
Come on.
So just moving. It's a game of chess. Moving people in the right position so they can
Yeah.
not only pour into you, but you can pour into them and be successful. So that's what I'm currently doing. That's
That's so
how
good.
I'm pursuing my purpose,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see in a couple of years when I'm $1 billion
A
trillion dollars.
billion trillion dollars. Billionaire? No. Billion
Yeah,
trillionaire. Ah.
billion trillion there. Um, I can be like, girl, I made my
I
purpose
mean,
come full
come
circle. Like,
to
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, we jumped into talking about purpose, but like, how would you define purpose?
how would I define purpose?
Hmm.
Purpose is so complex to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it has so many layers.
Yeah.
The way I would define purpose is what is meant to be.
Mm. Mm.
Because I don't want to add anything to that, and I don't want to take anything away from that. It's literally what is meant to be.
Mm.
Um, and that purpose could be for right now, that purpose could be for later, is what's destined to be. So that's how I define purpose. And yeah, what about you? How do you define it?
In a similar way, it's like what a person or a thing is created to be. So, like,
Yeah.
this light has purpose, and
Mm-hmm.
that purpose may be received differently by many different people. Um,
Mm,
but
perspective. Yeah.
yeah, but the purpose is still the same. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said before, if you need to find out the purpose of a thing, you have to refer to the manufacturer or the manual.
Yeah.
And for me, that's God. So it's like me, me and him, we go be speaking about like what I need to do next. So like throughout that whole process, like I was talking about before, it was the same thing, journaling a lot, having a lot of candid conversations with myself and with God. Like, why'd you make me go through these situations where I felt
I love those conversations.
isolated? Oh, but the answers be like,
Those
okay. Well, you didn't have to say it like that.
are God will come on stage and smack you like Will Smith. Okay, like
Come on. I'm like, I didn't expect all of this. You need to peel it back some. But yeah, that's how it
yeah,
looks. That's how it looks for
yeah.
me. Mm,
Purpose is just it's beautiful once you acknowledge it.
yeah. But I do want to bring up something too, because with everything, because of the world we live in general, because
Yeah,
we're flawed human beings and we can't take on everything. There
yeah.
is like a what they say, like a backside to the blessing. So like
Mm,
when we talk about like the fear of success and like what
yeah.
happens when you do achieve, I feel like not a lot of people talk about like the things that you either have to give up, the people you have to leave along the way, um, the people you
People
have
that
to
gotta kick off
do.
the boat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I guess my question would be like, what scares you most about succeeding? I guess we'll talk about it in this episode.
Ooh,
Or living in your
there's
truest purpose. Hmm. If you need to think, I can go.
oh,
I
you
can
can
go.
go first,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I've definitely thought through this in the coaching programs that I'm a part of. What you realize is that when you're learning anything new, the first thing that has to change is your mindset, your thought process about that situation. So for me, because I always felt like I wasn't qualified to do a thing, um, a lot of what I've been needing to do is like understanding where that comes from, why I think that about myself, and all of that. So I think for me, the scared, and it's a limiting belief for me, but the scariest thing is like getting to the purpose and still
Going
believing that
forward.
I'm not
Yeah.
qualified for it or I don't
Mm,
deserve it. And it's hard because it's like, I feel like there's so many other smart people in the world. Like, so many other people could be doing this, but I have to remind myself that, like, people won't be able to do it in the same way or touch the same people that you do. So you're necessary, just like they're necessary. Like, we're all necessary. We're not
yeah.
stealing from each other when we succeed. Like, there's an abundance of resources for everyone. And I think that's what I've been needing to like shift my mindset on, that, and the fact that not everyone will understand as I'm pursuing purpose. So like the direction and path I'm going down, my friends may not understand or my family may not
Mm-hmm.
understand, but it's not their job to, it's not their responsibility to. It's your
Yeah.
responsibility to keep going. So I know I said a lot, but yeah, those are all the
No, that's
thoughts.
good. So for birthday wine, the thing that I always talk to you that probably can really help you is I don't know what I was listening to or what I read, but they were saying what bread is out there.
Wait, say it
Look how
again.
many
You're
bread.
cutting out.
Look how many. Oh, cut off. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at types of bread companies that are out there. I may like a different type of bread than you like.
Mm.
I like potato bread. Not everybody likes
You said bread. Okay.
yeah, bread. Like bread that you eat. You know. So
Oh, sourdough.
I think thinking, yeah, sourdough. What if the person that created the first loaf of bread was like, this is how you make bread, and no one else made their type of bread after that? We would be in a peace.
No bagels, no sourdough,
Bagels, no
no
sourdough,
cocoa bread, hard dough bread.
batter. Yeah, batter. If it's already done, it ain't gonna be done like you.
Oh. Oh, I heard the same thing about cereal. Yes, I've heard this
Yeah.
go.
Like,
Yeah.
what if someone let us add raisin bran and
Oh,
nothing else?
jeez. Thank God for the Cocoa Pebbles. That was my favorite
Thank
as
God
a
for the
kid.
Fruit
And
Loops. Like,
Tricks.
true. Thank God for those people. But that's true. So definitely do what you feel is made for you, no matter if it's effort or not, because it's not going to be done like you, because there's only one you. So
Ooh,
give it up for me, family.
come on. Yay, thanks. Thanks for that affirmation. And I say that for everyone. I know there are similar people or people in similar positions as me, just like feeling underqualified or feeling like they're not the ones who are supposed to do it. If you have the idea, you're supposed to do it. The idea was given to you on purpose. So do it.
Do
And that's for me too. I'm looking at myself
it.
while I
Just
was
do
thinking.
it.
Nike was really onto something, man. but yeah. But yeah. What about you? Like fears about succeeding, fears about like pursuing purpose. What are your thoughts around that?
My fear, I don't have to.
Mm.
Um, just not being prepared. I don't want to. I don't like when I'm not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
That really, even if I succeed at it, if I didn't give 100% in my preparation
Mm-hmm.
for it,
Mm.
I'm gonna feel like I could have done better in some way or some form. So the fear of not being prepared, not being the most knowledgeable in the room when it's my time to shine. That's my number one fear. And number two fear, because I understand like you're gonna lose people at the top. I
Mm-hmm.
will kick everybody off my boot. Except for my family.
So I could go to I hear you.
Like you're family now. So once you're counted
Oh,
as family,
I
you're
appreciate
family.
it. Yeah, I get that.
Those are the people that I'm like, I can't lose blood coursing through our veins. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be together, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not.
Mm-mm.
It took me this old age to see
That is old age.
that even family aren't meant to be in your life
Mm.
forever.
Mm.
And
Yikes.
it's a little harder, especially for me being like super family oriented, and I love most of the people in my family. So most of the people in my
Most of the
family. So
people, your family members, like she talk about me, she don't like me.
you are darling. You don't have to guess it. I let you know.
Mm.
No, but feeling as if I gotta detach or move differently around my family
Mm.
once I'm in my purpose.
Mm.
Because your family's not gonna always be some people in your family. Um, and sometimes your family can be your biggest hater too.
Mhm.
So like now, with the little success that I've had in my life,
Mhm.
I
They
had
don't
to
like it.
remove myself from family.
Mm.
So, and that's a hard pill to swallow. Friendships, I'm okay with like kicking them off to the curb. I've been, I don't want to say great at that. I'm still learning friendships, but my family, it's like,
Mm.
no,
Yeah, you would expect them to be there with you
yeah.
on the ride.
And that's, I feel like that's the hardest thing that for me is that I have to swallow. And I'm
Mm.
saying that I don't have to swallow it because
Mm.
so being prepared is not having to kick my family off the boat.
Nah, keep my family. Yeah, because honestly, your family are the people who know you. I put
They
quotes
don't
up
know
for
you.
those listening on
Yeah.
like any of the platforms. But family are the ones who know you the most. But it's they get comfortable in an idea of you. So once you are moving in a way that they're not used to, it's like, what happened to the old Deja? That's when people start saying, oh, you changed. It's like, do you want me to grow?
Yeah.
Growth requires some change in movement, in people, in mindset, in conversations. Like, yeah, I'm trying to grow, so I have to change a little.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm sad.
If you ever, I'm sorry, if you ever, like, you changed this for you.
You got the Wilson for? Oh no, is that
No,
gonna be
no,
the
not the
new?
Will Smith. But you are immediately removed. Immediately.
Immediately. Mm-mm.
If a
Oof.
flood comes, you better hope you can swim because this boat is telling about you. No. Um, no,
Mm.
it's, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I changed because everyone's supposed to change. I'm not supposed to be at the age of 23. I'm not supposed to be the same at the age of 10 as I was
Come
at 10.
I would hope
And
not.
when I turn 40 in like 40 years from now, I won't be the same person that I am today.
Yeah.
So people I do know how to add. I'm just trying to throw you off my sentence. So
Mm. No, you actually brought up a good point because as you're achieving purpose and just in life, you have to have like difficult conversations to let people be aware of like new expectations, new motivations for yourself. So like when you had to cut people off in the past or like when you had to
I'm telling you,
reassign people to different roles in your life, how do you go about having those conversations? Because it's something I struggle
you're done.
with. You're
You're
done.
done.
That's it.
You're fired.
You're fired.
No. Um, no, honestly, I
She said
mean,
yes.
no, I like you've been in situations with me. You're done.
Yeah.
No, as I said, it's easy for me to be like, I'm done. Like I don't want
Mm,
to. This doesn't give me anything else.
mm,
Like, and it takes me. And I think why I'm like that is because it takes me a while to get there. Like I'm gonna
mm,
give you a couple, especially if I love you, I'm fond of you. I'm gonna
mhm,
give you a couple chances. Um, and I'll let you know, like, hey, you're funny, or hey, I don't appreciate this, or hey, you made me feel this way.
mhm,
A couple strikes and you're done. So once I'm done with you, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want this friendship anymore.
mm,
I don't want this relationship anymore. And once I say those words, like I'm done. Like don't even try to apologize, this, that, and the third, because I've thought it through.
mhm,
Now, especially point in my life, I think through in the past, it was just like, oh no, I'm done and keep it moving like instantly. But now I'll take a day or two and I'm like, do I really want to remove this person out of my life?
Mm-hmm.
And if those cons outweigh the pros and with our relationship, then yes, I'll let you know, hey, this is it for me. You haven't, and that's what people fail to realize. You haven't made an enemy out of me just because we aren't in that type of relationship anymore. We don't have this type of friendship anymore. I just can't have you around me.
Yeah.
For X, Y, and Z.
That's good.
And that conversation was really easy for me. And I don't know why. But
I was like, how you do that? How you got that? How you got that muscle? I ain't got it. I gotta exercise it a little more.
My mother and my father, they will cut you off like they never met you a day in their life.
That makes sense. Yep.
As well. Ever again. And used to do that like in the midst of like, oh, what? You know what? Cut you off and move on. But now I'm like, okay, let me take it back, think it through, then tell you. So yeah, I just think because I'm learning from it and try to avoid it, it's festering.
Yeah.
So just like just cut it off. Just be, and if they want to be childish, cut immediate. Like okay.
Okay.
I try to be so
try to be nice about it, but clearly I gotta block you. Sometimes you do.
No, before I block you, now I gotta read you for the filth that you are.
Read you for filth.
You are, and the reason because really has been helping me. When I tell you like, hey, I just don't think this is working. Like our friendship, I don't feel like it's giving me what it's supposed to, or you rub me the wrong way. It's for my growth. I can't do this anymore. I'm not your enemy, but our friendship just can't be any longer. And if those people become irate, because some people become irate and be like, oh, you third. That's when you're like, these are the reasons why I cut you off.
Yikes.
And then they block you. Yeah, then you gotta read them for the filth that they are and remove yourself. Or not. Me, I'm petty, so that's why I still read you for the filth that you are. But if they come back with a little sass, just block them. Because you already mature about this. You don't want to do that anymore. Just block them. So that's my piece of it.
That's good. I have to realize that it's actually more uncomfortable for me to stay in this situation than to have that one little uncomfortable conversation. It's something I'm working on.
You'll get there.
I know.
I'll first start to flourish even more.
And that's what I said I'll do. For the people that I actually vent to about the situation, I need them to hold me accountable to have the difficult conversation. I need you to be like texting me like, did you talk to them? Yeah, I'll be like, no, I didn't. But so like the more they come up, the more I'm like, help me, hold me accountable so I can talk to these people. Ooh. Yeah. No, that's good.
That's a great episode.
Yeah. There's so much more we can get into purpose. I like that we talk about the fear of success a little bit. If you want us to go a little deeper into that, I think that's a good conversation too.
First of all, if you want us to go deeper, about the tissues because you got to have me on the thing crying.
Yeah, how deep you want us to go is the question. But yeah, we can take it anywhere. The purpose is ever the conversation about purpose is ever changing. It's like it's always getting revamped, broader concepts are coming in. So like we'll probably bring up purpose again once we talk about entrepreneurship and different things in our life.
Right. Because once you start to it may grow into something else that you weren't expecting. So
yeah. And it's like, then we get into the relationships in general, like who are the friends that you have to, gain along the way to align with purpose, the romantic relationships, the familiar relationships, which we talked about, like cutting people off. But how do you know who's the right people to bring on to the party? you know?
When those red flags start to appear, believe in those red flags.
Believe
Don't
those
try to
red flags. That's
brush
good.
those over. I feel like that's when you know, like immediately. Because I feel like before we gotta wrap this up. But
I
before
know.
any relationship ends, you knew from the beginning. You knew, like you knew.
It's like
I knew, and
you
I
had a
still was
gut
like,
feeling.
oh, yeah, you knew.
I think the hardest part though is understanding when someone's in your life to challenge you or someone is actually not supposed to be in your life at that point. So that's where toxic comes in. It's like, what's challenging? What's someone challenging you? And what's somebody being a toxic, person in your life? And I don't know if I know the answer. I guess challenging would be like, I can see the intention is to get me to a better place. Like, if I can see that you're pushing me into a better place that aligns with where I'm trying to go, and it just makes me uncomfortable the way you're doing it or how you're doing it, maybe we'll have a conversation about that. Like, hey, this is how I'm receiving this. And then they can explain like where they're coming from. But like challenging people, because people in my life be rubbing me the wrong way, but I know it's just their personality that doesn't glue well with my personality. And not everyone in your life should have the same personality as you, because they won't stretch you in different ways. So like, even I feel like this is a prime example of like how we attack life, and it's like so necessary, because I'm like, how do you do that? You're like, I need to be more calm.
Be quiet, B. I say something.
I know. And this is why we need other people in our lives. This is why we need friends.
Continue or take your option. Sometimes you need the option to know where you're centered. If you're always centered, how do you where you're supposed to be?
That's good. That's good. The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know. Oh no, this is a great episode. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We hope you come back for our next episode. Once again, we release episodes every other Tuesday. Every other Tuesday. Woo! So tell us what you think about purpose, how you would define it, what you think yours is. I would love to hear like what our listeners' purposes are. That's awesome. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment on all streaming platforms, as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to us here, and rate us on all the podcast platforms. It really does help. Oh, I thought I sounded like such a yeah.
Hey. Bye.